Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. I'm Peter Loshak. Today is Wednesday, May 11th. We are talking right now with Ian Cameron, looking at the overnight lines for Thursday, May 12th. Ian Cameron, the first game I want to ask you about, Houston and Boston, right? Now, both Price and Keuchel have had subpar years, right? Both have their velocities down. There's speculation that they're injured, and they both just been very hittable. The names, though, I think are still hanging there over everyone analyzing these games, setting the markets and market lines and betting them. And the total on this game opened up at 8. I jumped on the over 8 on that one. I'm assuming that at least one of these guys is probably going to get hit pretty hard again. Maybe both of them. Maybe it goes over after the first 5 innings. What's your take on Price and Keuchel? You think they're going to bounce back and pitch to their reputations, or do you think that they're good fades going forward?
Yeah, I'm probably going to be right there with you, Peter, in terms of looking at this game over the total. I mean, Dallas Keuchel, to me, it's definitely not been the season that he was hoping for, coming off just a marvelous 2015 campaign. It has been a struggle for him. There's no question about it. And even his home road splits, he's been very, very strong the last season plus at Minute Maid Park in Houston. But you get him outside of there, and boy, things have become a lot worse for Dallas Keuchel pitching on the road. And as much as I've had trouble, Peter, with Boston against left-handed pitching, they hit a pretty, at least a young, promising starter as a lefty in Sean Manaea pretty hard last night. Now, obviously, Manaea doesn't have the same pedigree as Dallas Keuchel. I get that. But at the same time, I've seen Boston slowly improve their approach against left-handed pitching. And overall, this Boston lineup is just crushing the baseball right now, just destroying it. They are probably one of the best lineups right now in Major League Baseball, and they're a tough lineup to go against right now. You look at their recent results and what they've been able to do. I mean, we've seen them score 8, 5, 7, 5, 14, 13, in 6 of their last 10 games. They're putting up crooked numbers right now, and for a guy struggling a little bit, like Dallas Keuchel has and been getting hit hard, that could be trouble. But on the flip side, David Price is every bit as untrustworthy right now, in my opinion, as well. And when are these damn teams going to get it through their heads, Peter? You don't sign these pitchers like David Price to these ridiculous 7-year, $217 million contracts. What did the Boston management people think?
Yeah, what you do is you get a young phenom who's got a live arm, and you give him the rookie salary and just ride him until he gets injured.
Yeah, it's a much better option. I mean, what did they expect? I mean, David Price, did they really think that for the next 5 of the 7 years, at least, of that contract, they were going to get top form, vintage David Price at his best? No, he had nowhere to go but down coming into this season. He's a guy on the downward slope slowly of his career. Pitching at Fenway Park is a terrible matchup, I think, for him. I don't think his skill set as a pitcher fits Fenway Park all that much. And the results bear that out. 8.34 ERA so far for David Price in 4 starts at Fenway Park, 21 runs on 27 hits in 22 innings pitched at home. He's nearly giving up 1 run per inning this season at Fenway Park. That is a disastrous statistic. 4 home runs. In fact, all of his home runs that he's allowed this season have been at Fenway Park. I mean, to me, if you're Boston management, you're not thinking clearly. You got too many bats in the belfry upstairs if you think this guy is going to be a guy that's going to give you 5, 7 great years as an elite level pitcher. He's showing decline already, and I think it might continue for David Price. And the Houston Astros team, offensively it's been spotty for them, but they're still hitting a little bit better against lefties this season than they are right-handed pitchers. 4.73 runs per game against lefties, a better team batting average against lefties. I'm with you in terms of this game going over the total. I think these 2 starters are vulnerable, and not sure the end in sight is going to be on Thursday night.
Okay, sounds good. Then let's talk about the Mets and the Dodgers. Clayton Kershaw starting, and Kershaw, of course, as awesome as ever. Usually you're taking an insane line with him, 270, 280, sometimes in the minus 300s. Against the Mets, though, the line opened up at just minus 200. And, Bartolo Colon on the other side for the Mets. He's definitely been decent. He's usually good for 6 innings, 3 runs at worst, sometimes a little bit better. But Kershaw, again, awesome as ever, and the Dodgers have won 6 out of his 7 starts this year. Sometimes, Kershaw gets very overvalued, and you see him where he's a huge favorite, and look at the Dodgers record and they're like 15-12 over his last 27 games, something like that. This year they've won 6 out of his 7 starts. You only have to pay minus 200 on the opening line. What do you think about that? Dodgers minus 200?
Well, you know what? This is an interesting one because the Mets, to me, they've been in pretty good form of late. There's no question. They won 3 of their last 4 games. Tough loss for them last night against the Dodgers, dropping that one 3-2, a ninth-inning walk-off win for the LA Dodgers in that game. Clayton Kershaw, obviously pitching great. What else is new there? 6-1 the Dodgers in his 7 starts this season. It's just a tough guy to go against, and I know the New York Mets definitely offer a lot of value in the price at this underdog rate in this game. But, Kershaw, it's been tough going against him. I mean, obviously that record bears it out with the Dodgers and the way they've been able to win consistently with Clayton Kershaw on the mound, coming off a strong performance against a very good Blue Jays lineup. 2 runs allowed in 7 innings, no walks, 10 strikeouts, 6-2 Dodger win. So very good stuff from Clayton Kershaw as usual. Bartolo Colon, though, deserves some credit as well. He's had 6 starts this season, has allowed 3 runs or less in all of those starts. On the road, he's been solid, 2-0, 3.72 ERA. The Mets 2-1 in Bartolo Colon's 3 road starts, and he did face the Dodgers once last season, Colon, and pitched extremely well. 1 run on 5 hits in 8 innings of work. So it'll be interesting to see how this Dodgers lineup fares against Colon, a Dodgers team that, a little bit lately offensively, it's been a little bit spotty from them. They've only scored 5 runs in the first 2 games of this series. So we'll see if they can get their offense on track against Colon, who had a very good performance against them last season. And, Bartolo Colon, how will he pitch coming off that home run that he hit in his last start? And Gary Cohen of the Mets television just going on and losing his mind over it, saying this is one of the best moments in the history of baseball. Calm down now, will you please? I mean, it's not that great of a moment. It's great to see him hit his first home run of his career at 42 years old, but to me, saying it's the greatest one of the best moments in the history of baseball, that's going overboard. That's way over the top. But let's see how Colon does here. I mean, I think there is value with the Mets as a team. You like your second half bets, Peter. Maybe the Mets' second half in this game holds value. But to me, it's a tough game for me to get involved with, and I really have no interest getting involved going against Clayton Kershaw when the Dodgers have pretty good win-loss record when he takes the mound.
All right. Well, I got to admit, I'm thinking about taking the Dodgers at minus 200. You think that's too steep of a price, even at that reduced line that we're normally used to seeing with Kershaw?
Yeah, it is just a bit too steep for me. Okay. My cutoff point with playing favorites usually is minus 140, minus 150. Once it gets above that, it's just a little too rich for my blood.
All right, fair enough. Well, another game that has a line minus 160, minus 170 with not a Clayton Kershaw caliber starting pitcher going is Baltimore. They've got Ubaldo Jimenez going against Detroit, and Pelfrey's on the other side, so that explains most of that line. Pelfrey's been absolutely awful. He's been getting crushed. Jimenez has been getting hit hard as well, though not crushed as hard as Pelfrey, but he's definitely been getting hit. Could see maybe the over having some value, though it opened at 9.5, which is a little bit of a high total. And, I want to look to fade Pelfrey here, I guess, one way or the other, but not sure if I'd want to take Baltimore at that line of minus 160 or 165. What do you think?
Well, if you watched the video we did for last Saturday's games, we had side and total winners provided right here on our overnight lines betting segments when we faded Mike Pelfrey.
Right, that's why I asked you about this game specifically.
Exactly, and I'm looking to do the same here. I mean, we had Texas, we had the over on Saturday, and Mike Pelfrey's last start against Texas, Rangers and over, an easy winner there, and a big, I think it was 12-7, something like that, but it was a Texas victory, the over cash. We went 2-0 side in total, fading Mike Pelfrey, and I'm looking to take a similar path here in this game, no question about it. Pelfrey's been beyond abysmal in recent outings, 4+ runs allowed in 5 of his 6 starts, 6.23 ERA on the season. He's allowed 26 runs and 6 home runs in 30.1 innings of work, and as many walks as strikeouts. He's got 15 walks, 15 strikeouts. That tells you he's also struggling with command, control, a little bit of wildness in his delivery. That's a big-time problem here, and also the home run numbers are a problem when you're now traveling to Camden Yards here in Baltimore, power-laden Orioles lineup with the likes of Manny Machado, Chris Davis, Adam Jones, a bunch of guys that can hit the ball out of the ballpark, and that could be a dangerous matchup here for Mike Pelfrey without a doubt. Ubaldo Jimenez, to me, though, he's been solid most of the season. He did have one rough outing against the White Sox recently where he allowed 6 runs in 4.2 innings of work, but he did bounce back last time out against Oakland, holding them to 2 runs in 8 innings. That was a very light-hitting Oakland team, though, so it could be a little bit trickier for Jimenez against Detroit. You're going to want to keep an eye on Miguel Cabrera's status as well for this series opener. He's been dealing with an injury the last couple of days. You definitely would like to see Miguel Cabrera in the lineup if you're going to look toward the Detroit Tigers in this game. But still, even though Jimenez has been solid, I've seen this years from this guy, Peter. He's very erratic. I mean, he's still going to throw up that clunker every now and then. And to me, he's still a little too erratic for me to trust here against a lineup that really hammered him last season. Jimenez faced Detroit once last season, back in August, right here at Camden Yards, and he allowed 6 runs in just 4.2 innings, so not a very good start for him. I'm definitely with you and looking to play this game over the total. It should be a slugfest at Camden Yards. And once team totals get posted, Baltimore over their team total, probably worth a look here as well because, again, Mike Pelfrey doesn't seem to have much gas in the tank right now and a very hittable pitcher at this stage of the season.
Okay, sounds good. That's what I was thinking as well. Maybe just don't get too fancy with it and just take the Baltimore team total over. That's 3 games from the Thursday card that we've touched on. We got 5 other games on the slate. What would you like to bring to our attention, Ian?
Well, just quickly, I don't have a strong opinion on this game, but Philly against Atlanta, a reasonable price probably to look to the Philadelphia Phillies in that particular game, minus 130, minus 125. It's right now just a lean for me, a small play it'll be. But again, Atlanta's got no home field advantage whatsoever. They've been pathetic, really, at Turner Field all season long. And Philly's right now getting some pretty good starting pitching. And Vince Velasquez, one of those young arms that's been delivering the goods for them. So we'll give a small lean to the Phillies on the Thursday night board, as well as a small size road favorite taking on the hopeless, pathetic, and abysmal Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Maybe on the first 5 innings. Anytime I have any reason to fade Atlanta, I'm probably going to pull the trigger on it. Ian Cameron, thanks so much. Talk to you again tomorrow.
Thanks, Peter. Enjoy the games and good luck.